Hello students, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. In this video, we are going to discuss about South America and the major physical features of the South American continent. So, first of all, some brief point we can discuss about South America. So, South America is the fourth largest continent of the earth in terms of we talk about area wise. Also, if you look at the extent of South America, this is the South American continent. So, from the north to south, if you look at its extent, in the northernmost side, northwestern side, we can say this area, this is what we call as Gulf of Darien, where you have well known Darien Gap in Panama is also situated, which is one of the major routes of the donkey routes, we can say, where the illegal immigrants are trying to cross into the United States of America via the Mexico. So, fourth largest continent, stretching all the way from Gulf of this Gulf of Darien in the northwest all the way up to this small archipelago that you see in the southernmost part of the continent, that is Tierra del Fuego. That is the extent of this continent. Now, South America's extreme geographic variation that you see contributes to continent's large number of biomes. Biome basically refer to a large geographical area where you have a similar kind of natural vegetation and multiple animal diversity. Now, with an unparalleled number of plant and animal species that we have discussed, that is in biome, South American biome, South America's rich biodiversity is unique among the world's all the continents. So, these are some basic things we have to understand about South America. Now, if you want to divide geographically South America, we can divide it into three areas. First area, which is referred as mountains and highland, that is high elevation, high altitude region. Then second are referred as river basins, and third are the coastal plains that is found on the easternmost part of the continent, largely formed due to the flow of the rivers here. So, let us first discuss about the major mountains and highlands of South America. So, in this context, if you look at the westernmost coast of South America, you have a very long mountain range, mountain system, which is also referred as Cordillera. So, basically it is called as Andes Cordillera. Not only Andes Cordillera is the longest mountain range of South America, it is also the longest mountain range of the entire world, because if you talk about the length, it covers almost 8,850 kilometers of your South America, right from the north to south. If you try to compare it to the Himalayas are somewhere about 2,500 kilometers. So, almost 3.5 times longer than the entire Himalayan range that we have in India is your Andes mountain range. Situated on the far western edge of the continent, the Andes stretch from the southern tip to the northernmost coast of South America, and there are hundreds of peaks which are higher than 4,500 meters tall, many of which are volcanic. Now, why the peaks here are volcanic? It has to do with the how Andes mountain has formed. So, if you look at the geology of Andes, basically if you look at South America, this is South America. So, this is a kind of continental plate, and to the west of this continental plate you have a vast oceanic plate that is called as Pacific plate. So, whenever oceanic plate collides with the continental plate, being denser than the continental plate, it starts to subduct below the continental plate, and as the oceanic plate subducts below, what happens? The temperature increases, and thus you have formation of magma. This magma then further breaks through the continental crust and start to deposit itself after solidification, and this continuous solidification deposition after cooling of magma leads to formation of a high altitude areas, which is generally referred as mountains. So, Andes is formed due to the ocean continent convergence between the Pacific plate and the South American continental plate. However, in the entire Andes mountain range, if someone asks you that which is the highest peak, the answer will be it is Mount Aconcagua. Mount Aconcagua in Andes stands at almost 6,962 meters and is the highest peak of entire South America as well as the entire Andes mountain range. So, we can look this at the map of South America also, starting all the way from here, as you can see. throughout the entire western coast of South America. This is the extent of Andes range, and as we have discussed, this side you have the Pacific Ocean, which is continuously subducting below the lighter South American continental plate. And here, as you can see, this is the region where you are having the Mount Aconcagua. Now, if we turn our gaze to the plateaus of South America, three major plateaus we can highlight here. First, that stretches across two countries, that is Peru, and then you have Bolivia. So, the plateau here is referred as Altiplano. Altiplano has an elevation of roughly 3,700 meters, and actually it is in the Altiplano of Bolivia also you will find the highest city in the world. Highest city in the world means the city which is situated at the highest elevation, and that is none other but the capital of Bolivia, which is La Paz. Further, as you move to the eastern part, you have a Brazilian highland, which is a kind of volcanic shield that has formed many million years ago. And then further to the north, we have the Guinea highland, that is third important plateau of South America. We can look at all of these plateaus on the map of South America here to understand their location. So, this region that you see, this is the Andes mountain, and to the eastern side of Andes mountain is where you have the Altiplano, this region. Then you have Brazilian highland, as you can see in the Brazil, which is the largest country of South America to the eastern side, and further to the north we have Guiana highland, and this is also a small plateau like a structure that has developed here. This extent, as you can see from here on the eastern side of Andes, is what we have discussed, is the Altiplano in the Bolivia and then in Peru, and part of this is also extended to Chile and Argentina as well. Now, within this plateau, you will find a plant. If you look at the plant diversity here, as most of the plateau is situated at higher than 3,000 meter elevation, the biome that you will find here is obviously it is alpine biome, and as the temperature is very less, here the plants have to adapt to the environmental conditions, and that is why the leaves of this plant has become very stiff and strong to protect them from the frost as well as a drought like situation that prevails, being this area not only is at higher elevation but also it lies on the leeward side of Andes, and thus basically it lies in the rain shadow region of Andes. Let us try to understand this briefly as well. This is, let us say, your Andes mountain. This side is the western coast. So, here you have the Pacific Ocean, and this side that we have discussed is the Altiplano of the Bolivia and other plateaus. So, what happens basically is that when the winds reaches toward the Andes from Pacific, these are warm and moist winds, they are forced to rise up on this side of Andes, and they causes heavy rainfall on the western slope. But once they cross the Andes and as they move toward the eastern slope, now these winds are descending down. That means they are warming up, and as the winds warm up, they can carry more amount of water vapor. That means condensation does not happen, cloud formation does not happen, and rainfall does not happen. So, this region is what we refer as the rain shadow region of a mountain, and that is exactly where these plateaus are located. And that is why obviously if the rainfall is very minimal, what kind of situation you will observe? You will observe a drought like situation, and due to their high elevation, what you will observe? Temperature is below freezing point, and that is why frost is something that also you might see here. And the most important point that you should remember, as you can see from this particular picture, the Puya Raimondi, it is considered to be the largest herb in the world, and this herb is found in the plateau of the South America. These are some very important facts you have to keep in mind for the South American highlands. Now, let us try to understand about the river basins of the South America. Now, the outlines of the major rivers we already have we can see here. So, the major river that all of you must be knowing about, which is also the largest river of the world, is Amazon river. So, Amazon river, it originates somewhere from the western part of the South America, that is where your Andes mountain is located, and then flows all the way to the east before entering into the Atlantic Ocean. So, Amazon is one of the major river. Apart from its several tributaries, we can say like Madeira river, Negro river, Tapajós river, Xingu river. Second important river is flowing to the north, that is called as Orinoco river. Third river we will discuss is Paraguay River and Parana River, which is collectively referred as Paraguay and Parana River Basin. So these are three most important rivers of the entire South America. So first we can discuss about the Amazon River Basin. Now as we know that Amazon is the largest river of the world, and also it is well known for the vast rainforest that you will find along its bank in its course. Amazon River Basin is a very large river basin covering an area of almost 2.7 million square miles, that is roughly 7 million square kilometers. To understand this, the entire area of India, if we talk about, is 3.2 million square kilometer. So the Amazon River Basin, in that way we can understand, it is almost 20 to 25% of the entire India's area. Then if you talk, we can say almost 2.2 times larger than the entire area of India is what is occupied by the Amazon River Basin. 3.2 million square kilometer is India's area, 7 million square kilometer is the size of Amazon River Basin, making it obviously the largest watershed in the world. Every second it is believed that Amazon River empties out almost 209,000 cubic meters of fresh water into the Atlantic Ocean, and as we have discussed, this is where the river actually flows out after originating from the western side of South America, flowing through the central region and then emptying out in the eastern region. The basin covers most of the northern South America and is fed by several tributaries. Most of these tributaries of the Amazon, where do they originate from? So obviously they originate from the glaciers that you will find in the Andes mountain range, and that is why, because of its sheer size, the huge amount of fresh water volume that it has, the huge amount of biodiversity that it supports, Amazon is also considered as life force of the Amazon rainforest as well. The river is considered as the life force of the rainforest. To understand the expanse of Amazon, that is the map as you can see from here, and this is the Amazon river flowing from west to east, and then you have some important tributaries such as Napo river is there, we have Maranon river is there, Ucayali river is there, then we have Hualaga river is there. So all these streams are basically originating from the glaciers of the western mountain, that is the Andes mountain range. The second river, as we have discussed, is the Orinoco river. Orinoco river, somewhere as you can see, the origin point lies in Brazil, and then it takes a kind of westward flow, further turning to the north, and then flowing to the north, again it turns east, and after flowing for a certain distance through a country that is Venezuela, that is located in the northern part of South America, it empties out into the Caribbean Sea. So Orinoco river flows in a giant arc, because as you can see, if you look at the shape of this river basin, it looks like kind of arc like shape. So that is why it seems to be flowing like in a giant arc for more than 2,736 kilometers. Now again, if you compare, this river is longer than the Ganga river. The length of Ganga river is 2,525 kilometers. So almost 200 kilometers longer than Ganga river is the Orinoco river, originating in the Guiana highlands of northern Brazil and discharging in the Atlantic Ocean to the coastline of Venezuela. That is the overall this Orinoco river. It has several tributaries, such as you can see, Meta river is a major tributary, then we have Apure river, then we have Guaviare river, and these three are the major tributary from what we can say left bank side. And similarly, you have Cora river, that is another important right bank tributary of river Orinoco. Some other important points if we highlight about Orinoco river. So it covers an area of almost 948,000 square kilometers and encompasses approximately 80% of the Venezuela and 25% of Colombia. The most important point that you have to remember from the prelims point of view, that the llanos, which is a type of grassland, is the primary biome of the Orinoco river basin. In other words, we can also say that the llanos grassland is supported by the flow of water that is happening in the Orinoco river basin. And in this llanos grassland, several types of grasses you will observe here. The grasses such as swamp grasses, sedges, bunch grasses are found in the wet low-lying regions of the grassland, while carpet grass that is kind of a uniform grass that is found in the higher and drier elevation of this Llanos grassland. The important river species that you will find in the Orinoco River are one of the dangerous species of fish, that is piranha, then we have electric eel as well as the Orinoco crocodile. So, infested with many such organisms which are dangerous and life threat to the humans, that you will find in the Orinoco River basin. Further, the third most important rivers of the eastern South America, we can say, is collectively referred as Paraguay or Parana river basin. If you look at the course of this river, so this is the Parana river, and from the north this is the Paraguay river. This is first river and this is second Parana river. So, Parana river, as you can see, is originating again from the eastern part of Brazil, that is Brazilian highlands, and then the Paraguay river, it is originating from the northern part of Brazilian highlands, and then after flowing through a certain distances, such as to the countries of Paraguay, they meet around a city that is called as, we can see, Corrientes, and after that the river join together and then flow as a common stream before discharging itself out through the Argentina. Actually, the capital city of Argentina, Buenos Aires, is situated nearby the mouth of the Paraguay or Parana river, and then further it discharges itself out into the Atlantic Ocean. So, this is the overall course of the river Paraguay or Parana. Overall, it covers again 2.8 million square kilometers of area, which is much of the southeastern Brazil, Bolivia, Paraguay as well as northern Argentina. Now, a few other points we can highlight about this river basin is that it supplies water to the plains biome or Pampas grassland of South America. Actually, this is the area where you have one of the largest grassland of South America. Pampas is situated. Pampas is an example of a temperate grassland, and we have discussed before Llanos. Llanos is an example of a tropical grassland. So, in three type of grassland actually you will see in South America: Llanos and Campos, that is tropical grassland, and Pampas, that is a temperate grassland. So, Llanos grassland, as we have discussed, is supported by Orinoco river, while the Pampas grassland, it is supported by the Paraguay or Parana river. So, Pampas have rich fertile soil and predictable rainfall patterns that make it one of the most fertile region. Most fertile means say economically fertile, because the cattle rearing activity, animal rearing activity is something that generally happens here. They are the most important, that is why grazing and cropland areas that you will find on the South American continent, and that is why dairy industry, leather industry, you have animal based industry that has developed properly in Pampas grassland of South America, and this is the picture that you can see. It is how the Pampas grassland basically looks like. Now, after discussing the highland, mountains and the river system, let us try to look at the third physiographical region of South America, that is the coastal plains of eastern region. So, coastal plain basically is nothing but an area of low lying elevation. It is kind of flat land that is lying next to a sea coast. That is why it is called as coastal plains. So, South American coastal plains are found on northeastern coast of Brazil, along the continental line of Atlantic, along the oceanic line of Atlantic Ocean, and the western Pacific coast of Peru and Chile as well. The Brazilian highland actually act as a wedge that pushes moist sea winds away from the coastal plains. So, basically it is due to this region. If you look here at this map, you can see that the fertile coastal plain that you will find on the eastern side of the continent, there the sugarcane plantation is a major kind of crop that is cultivated here. Also here you will see development of lot of port cities in South America that allow especially the Brazil, the largest country of South America, to export sugar to the rest of world. So, that is why sugar industry is one of the major industry that has developed in this region. Africans were brought in earlier time to work in sugar plantations as a slave. So, in earlier times slave trade was also being practiced along this fertile coastal plain. On the other hand, if you look at the interior plain, which is referred as Sertão. So, interior plain is basically having wet or dry climate, and that is why they keep on suffering from problems such as drought followed by heavy floods, devastating floods. And that is why in the Sertao region or the Sertao plains of South America, poverty is very severe, and not only poverty, due to the poverty due to the prevalence diseases, the natural disasters that happen in these areas, the life expectancy is very low. It is only 49 years. So this is the two kind of plain that you will find in South America. If you take a look at the western coastal plain of South America, this yellow region represents the western coastal plain. So basically it is situated between the Andes mountain range in the east, and on the west side you have the Pacific Ocean, and along the coast of this eastern coastal plain you have flow of an oceanic current that is called as Peru current, which is also sometimes referred as Humboldt current after the name of discoverer of this current, Alexander von Humboldt. Now Peru current or Humboldt current is a cold current. So if a cold current is flowing through the coast, obviously what will happen? The rate of evaporation will be less, and that means the cloud density will be low. That means the amount of rainfall will be low. So here this plain is having very low amount of rainfall, and also it is due to this region, this plain are extremely dry in nature. And the Atacama desert actually is part of the western coastal plain. Atacama is a very important desert, major desert of the world, especially major desert of South America. And why it is important desert you should know about, because desert are anyway dry. But even in the deserts, the driest desert is actually your Atacama desert. It receives about only 1 millimeter, that is 0.04 inches of rainfall in a year. That is why it is considered as the driest region in the entire world, sandwiched between Andes mountain range and the cold Peru current. This is the most important fact you should remember about the western coastal plain of South America. Now, apart from these, there are some important facts you should know about the South American continent. For example, La Paz, that is the capital city of Bolivia, is the city situated at the highest altitude in the world. And as you can see, actually this is situated in between the highlands and the mountain ranges, and this mountain you have from the western side, and people are using this kind of gondolas, as you can see, or basically cable cars, to move from one part of the city to the other part of the city. Second important place that we have in the South America, that is located in Venezuela, that is also the highest waterfall in the world. And which is this waterfall? This waterfall is Angel Falls. Angel Falls is roughly 740 meter high altitude. So the highest waterfall in the world, the city at highest altitude, both are located in the South American continent. Further, we talk about, you also have one of the 7 wonders of the world, that is Machu Picchu, that is situated here in the South America also, and in the same country, that is Peru. In Peru, as you can see, this is a mountain. Because of the kind of rocks that is present in this mountain, because of the way how erosion has happened through this mountain has taken multiple colors, and that is why these mountains are well known as rainbow mountains, because on a clear sunny day, due to the sunlight that is incident on these mountains, you can see the 7 different colors of the rocks that is exposed in this mountain, and it attracts lot of tourists, both local as well as overseas in these areas. So both Machu Picchu as well as you have the this, as we discussed, Rainbow Mountain is situated here. Other very important site that is located in South America is this place that you see on your picture. It is called as Salar de Uyuni. Salar de Uyuni actually is a large salt flat. In one way, we can say it is very similar to the Rann region that we have in the Kutch, that is Kutch Peninsula of Gujarat. So Rann is also salt flat, and Salar de Uyuni is also salt flat. However, the area of Salar de Uyuni is very high, very large. And especially sometimes when the rainfall happens, it acts like a gigantic mirror, as you can see from this particular picture, because rainwater deposits in a thin layer over the salt flats, and thus it reflects the entire light, and thus you can reflection of the entire sky you can see here, and even if you walk here, your reflection will be observed here. So it also converts in the rainy season into what we can refer as world's largest mirror, natural mirror in other way. That is in the Salar de Uyuni. It is situated in the Bolivia. Bolivia, again we have discussed, is a country in South America. And last, as you can see from this picture, You must have identified it. This is the lightning strike. But lightning strike, if you have seen in the sky, you might have seen at an instant maybe 1 or 2 flashes of lightning. Here at the same instant you can see multiple flashes of lightning, more than 100 different flashes of lightning strike is happening here. So that is why this is also a region which receives highest number of lightning strikes in a year. This place is in Venezuela. In Venezuela you have a lake that is called as Lake Maracaibo. So Lake Maracaibo is fed up by a water from a river, and this river is called as Catatumbo river. So Catatumbo river flowing through the Lake Maracaibo, and near the mouth of Catatumbo river you will observe the place which is having the highest number of lightning strike because of its unique geography that is surrounding here. So that is all about the important geographical feature of the South American continent. Thank you very much.